gonna give him this pen. I think I may have another one in my bag.
Oh, okay. Good idea.
So when did you two meet?
Say again?
When did you meet first?
When did we meet first? I think probably
Oh,
1952.
that's
I
neat.
think when
You
I
had those made up for him?
yes,
Mm-hmm.
I think when
That's
we
great.
flew DC-3s together in 1952 and 53.
Got all the info on there.
You may have it. It's yours.
When did you start flying for United, Doc?
Everybody's giving me
He started
everything.
flying for United, I think, in
Can't
45.
buy anything.
44.
44 or 45, yeah. So it's been a few years. So when I think about it, it's been 28 years since I retired. It'll be 29 in December.
It's a lot of years.
Oh well, I put in 32. It didn't seem to be that long. It went very fast.
Well, and the whole EAA thing was a very interesting thing too. Still is.
Well, that was one of those problems. When I joined EAA, it was with the Milwaukee Flying Club in 1953, and went to the first couple of meetings, and then my first wife, who was quite a witch, uh, raised so much hell about my small airplane activity that I quit flying. And I didn't do anything from 1953 until she passed away in 1960, when I finally renewed my acquaintance. In the meantime, Paul Poveresny saved my EA number, gave me back my original number and that sort of stuff. So I'm number 21, but that's only by default because I didn't do anything for almost 10 years. You know, I didn't really get back into it till 72, actually.
Ugh, again with the spring.
I'm surprised you haven't got that thing worn out after all the shooting you've been doing the last couple of days here.
Yeah. See, Jack, this spring will go 40 feet on a wind, and so since it goes so long on a wind, I I often overlook winding. Whereas
Oh,
with the Bolex, it'll only go about 20 seconds, so you got to be paranoid about winding all the time. But not with this one.
Anyway, from 55 until 72, I didn't do anything for EAA, but then after that, I was recruited as the president of the vintage group, and it was all uphill from there.
well, that Jenny was a nice find, wasn't it? Or Sparrow, the one in the garage in Chicago.
Who?
The airplane you found in Chicago in
Oh,
the
the
garage.
Swallow? The Swallow?
Oh yeah, the Swallow. Yeah.
Yeah. I just gave him he's got it someplace, I gave him a pin, a little emblem of the Swallow.
Uh huh. That worked out real well for United, I would say.
It was the best. We got all kinds of awards for the best PR program ever put on, and that sort of stuff. It was in conjunction with the centennial year. Squirrel over there on the fence. Uh, we really garnered a lot of publicity for United Airlines, a lot of good stuff, and of course I dedicated the airplane to the pioneer people who built the wonderful transportation system that we had at the time. The guys that hung on by their fingernails, and if there was a floor to be swept, they swept the floor. If the mail was to be flown, they flew the mail. If they needed to drive a truck, they drove a truck, or they shoveled snow, or whatever they did, and they did it for peanuts.
They rose to the occasion because it
Right.
needed to be
They
done.
did it for the love of aviation and for the sense of accomplishment. And the airplane became a symbol for the average employee at United Airlines. So everybody loved the airplane. I would go to different air shows, go to different stations on United Airlines, and give rides to the people and that sort of thing. And it went over so well.
Well, the Japan thing too, that was spectacular.
That was unbelievable. You know, taking the airplane over there and barnstorming, and most of those people had not seen an airplane like that in their lifetime. You know, and we had a whole new 2 generations or more since World War II, so our reception was like Lindbergh. You know,
Yeah.
when I would arrive somewhere, there'd be thousands of people that had gotten there at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and had been waiting for hours to see the airplane. And we put it on display in the only shopping center that they had in Tokyo area. It was on display for a whole week, and we had thousands of people come from town, and I stood there 10, 12 hours a day just talking to people, you know, and letting them pose for pictures alongside the airplane and that sort of stuff. And we built a tremendous rapport for United Airlines over in Japan.
Hmm.
It was unbelievable. And
Heck of a way to see Japan too, huh?
say again?
A heck of a way for you to see Japan.
Well, I had been there during the Korean War, you know, so there were a lot of changes in the 25 years since I'd been there before. I was amazed at the proliferation of, first of all, national television. We used to have, it was Japan when I was there in 1952, 51, 52 was like the United States used to be. You had a definite southern dialect, you had a definite northern dialect, and you had a city dialect. Like everybody talked like they were from New York when they were in Tokyo, you know. But the people up north talked like New Englanders, and the people in the south had a southern accent.
Regionalism, yeah.
And then when I get back there in 1982, 30 years later, everybody talks the same.
Like a news announcer.
Television.
Yeah.
You know, everybody had a television set, and so everybody now talked the same. And we had a squirrel just came, almost ran down his shoulder here. The changes in the proliferation of electrical wiring and the grid system of electrical supply. In 1952, we were lucky if we get 60 or 70 volts. You know, when we were trying to use our recorders and that sort of stuff, but because the electrical grid was so poor at that particular time. But the buildings and the TV and the towers and the electrical system and the modernization was unbelievable in just 25 years, 30 years. So it was a real revelation to me. And of course, the attitude in 1951-52 was very strict. You did not travel without advising your local policeman that you were going to go somewhere. And you had to register when you got to the next prefecture with the police chief there. And they kept track of everybody, knew exactly where everyone was. It was an extremely tight society at that time. No permissiveness at all. If a person exhibited criminalistic tendencies, they would eliminate him. They didn't give him a chance to be a criminal. They killed him. They got rid of him. So we didn't have any rape. We didn't have any robberies and that sort of stuff. It was everybody was honest. They had to be, or they paid the price. When MacArthur rewrote the Constitution and made them democratic society, all that stuff went down the tubes. Now they have thievery and they have rape and they have sex crimes and all sorts of things that happen over there.
We westernized them.
Oh yeah, we sure did.
Or Europeanized.
The other thing I couldn't understand, and they have planned obsolescence with their automobiles and that sort of stuff. They only have a 5-year life on the automobile, and then they have to take it back to the manufacturer and replace all of the rubber products, all the hoses, all the fan belts, all of the body rubber cushions, you know, shock absorbers and all that sort of stuff. And then they extend the life of the car for 2 more years. At the end of 7 years, the car is taken out of service. I don't know if they're still doing that or not, but